Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Sam Dever Podcast, episode 55. In this episode, I speak with entrepreneur Leaford Hackett. I met Leaf several years ago at the 24-Hour Fitness in Sherman Oaks in the sauna of all places. There was about 10 to 15 of us in there, and there was this guy just talking wisdom. Something like Socrates or Aristotle would do, and we just gathered and listened to what he had to say, and he was creating engaging conversation. I'm like, who is this guy? And then the more I'd go to the gym, the more I eventually got to know him and talk to him. And he's just a very inspirational, intelligent, impactful person. And this is a conversation and an individual I've been wanting to record for a very long time. And to finally do this, the stars aligned. We made it happen. Thank you, Leaf, for coming and doing this, because I really got a lot out of this conversation. I hope a lot of you do too, because I feel that Leaf has a lot of amazing things to share with the world. He has a very special gift of intellect and taking that intellect and being able to verbalize thoughts in ways that you can digest and use to improve your life. So thank you, Leaf, for coming on. The book of the episode, I just finished this book, has to do with business. It's called Your Next 5 Moves, Master the Art of Business Strategy by Patrick Bet-David. This is a really good book. One of the best business books I've read in a long time. And I just feel Patrick Bet-David did a good job of making it simple and laid it out in a way that you could digest each concept without it being too much. And whether you're starting a business or you're in a business or you're in your job, or if you just want to do something different in your life, I feel like this book is a good guide to put you in the right direction. Your Next 5 Moves by Patrick Bet-David, book of the episode. If you want to listen to the podcast, follow us on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts. If you want to watch, go to youtube.com/@the-Sam-Dever-Podcast. Here's my conversation with Leaf. Leaford Hackett, welcome to the Sam Dever Podcast.
Oh, man. Thank you for having me, man. I've been waiting for this moment.
Man, like I told you before we started, I've told several people leading up to this, I'm like, hey, this guy's coming on. I've been waiting 5 years. About 5 years. Right. It was about 5 years ago when I moved out here.
And we went to COVID, and that just wiped us out.
Yeah. Disappeared off the map. And then I randomly see you at that park in Burbank when I was coming home from physical therapy.
Right.
And it was like, wait a minute, is that, yeah, it's Leaf. And like you came at, it's like, I feel like you just come at these pivotal moments in my life. And you have, of course, had messages of inspiration. And I meet you at the Sherman Oaks 24-Hour Fitness in the sauna. Mm-hmm. And we were talking a little bit about that. It's like, I don't even remember what the topic was, but I just know it was you and about 15 of us just listening to you as you were Socrates or something like that.
Man. It was this, I don't remember exactly what we were talking about, but, I know we go a lot of different ways in conversations. And I'm pretty sure it was a variety and it was intense, because you can get into those intense kind of conversation, debate, almost argument kind of situation sometimes. But yeah, I definitely recall meeting you. I would look forward to every time I saw you in the gym too. Like, I'm going to see Sam in here. So yeah, it's always great.
Well, and I think I'm paraphrasing this. I think someone said to you, like, man, everybody talks to you. And then you looked at him and you said something like, no, I talk to everybody.
Yeah.
Is that how it went?
Yeah. But what happened was one time I was in the gym and this girl's on the treadmill and she says, she comes up to me. She's like, well, what do you do? She's like, because everybody talks to you. She's like, they always talk to you. She's like, what do you do? Are you like, do you work in Hollywood? Are you an actor? I said, no, I'm a janitor. So I told her. And she was like, no, like she was really on some no. She said, but everybody talks to you. I said, no, I talk to everybody. It's perspective, right? Mm-hmm. I talk to everybody. So if anything, if she sees them initiating a conversation with me, that's just the law of reciprocity, right? They may be talking me out of a conversational debt. Like, let me say something to this guy. He said hi last time, right?
Right.
But I'm like this, man. It's like if I make a post on social media before anybody else like it, I'm going to love it. All right? If I was the guy sitting in front of a 7-Eleven and I didn't have any money, I would have one of my friends come by every 5 minutes and drop some in a bucket because people do what they see other people do. So that's just what it is. That's how I look at it, man.
Conversational debt. That's I've never. That's already we're like 2 minutes in, and I've already picked up some gold.
Yeah,
like, have you always been that way? Have you always been like outgoing that way and talking to everybody?
To say if I always been that way is like I want to over sophisticate. That's who I am, man. It's just kind of who I am. It's my personality. I think what allows me to exacerbate it is I don't really much care what people think about me, right? I'm gonna be me. I'm not gonna fold. I'm gonna stand on who I am. I love who I am. I'm not the best person in the world, but I love everything about me. I'm trying to enhance it or I'm trying to pull it back, whatever. So in general, yeah, I would have to say I've always been like this. And I don't see myself changing. I don't see no reason to change it up. So it works for me.
And you're from here, right?
I'm from Los Angeles, born in South LA. We're actually in the Watts area. And then I moved to the Valley. So I grew up pretty much in the San Fernando Valley. Went to college out here, JC, high school, junior high, everything. I pretty much grew up in the San Fernando Valley. And, yeah.
Yeah, and and that's one. I believe in the sign. It was something. I think it was a mix between sociology, economics, and maybe religion, perhaps. Like in the sign, I think now that I think about it, maybe why so many people are intrigued because you're talking about stuff that people aren't outspoken about, like in public settings,
Right.
And I think it's like why can't we be? I think that's one thing too. Like, that's stuff I think about all the time. Like.
I think when we look at, let's look at the concept of conversation. Most people think things that they can articulate, for one. They struggle with it, right? Then you have the people who are trying to think why they speak. So they haven't even made a decision on their thoughts yet, right? Then you have people just who are afraid to speak, right? So with me, I think fast and I speak fast. I can articulate things. I can take things that are sophisticated and make them appear to be very simple, right? But they're layered, they're multivariate. And then I'm not afraid because at the end of the day, you could walk out the sauna not liking me. But in conversation, it's not your job to challenge me. It's to challenge what I'm saying, right? If you told me something right now that I 100% agree with, I'm going to still have a rebuttal or a response because I know we can stretch what you said. So it's not a conflict. It's not contentious. It's linear, right? All things should be linear, bro. So I can applaud you in everything you say, but I'm still going to respond to it the way I was thinking it. Not to compete with you, but to give you or to offer you some of your arsenal. It's like when I met you in the sauna, we talked about books, right? And I would say something about a book and you say this. And then I wound up looking at my notes and had 10 extra books or something. Now I done took that and it just expounded on all the other stuff that I believed to have known or made me look at it a different way. So I'm always coming from a good place, man, regardless how it's received, because it's not my job for you to interpret it. That's on you. And if you don't understand what I was saying, you have the right to ask me. But if you don't, deal with it. I'm not going to hunt you down and say, did you understand what I was saying? Right? But I also understand that people interpret me wrong sometimes and they'll convey something that's inaccurate with who I am. Right? That's on them too, because I'm still going to be me. I'm an open book. You could ask me at any time, bro. And that's just what it is.
I've actually been with you when I told you about a book and you bought it right there in the spot. You're like, what's the name of that? And like, usually I thought you were taking notes. You're like, no, I just bought it here.
I just get it. You know what I'm saying?
But you make me think too, like even what we're doing right now, it's like everyone just wants to compete with each other and prove each other wrong and blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, like we can use this form of communication to figure stuff out and to get perspective. So what you said, I've never heard anyone put it that way. Like, it's linear.
Competition serves one purpose, right? And if you competing from a place of love, then it's good. If the competition is not out the love of something, it's like somebody asked me today, are you a competitor? I said, no, I'm a winner. Well, no, you have to compete. I said, I know, but me doing the process, that's not what I am. I said, I'm a winner. The decision is to win, not to compete. I said, that's why you don't win in life. And that's why you find with competing. And that's why you confuse activity with achievement, because you feel active. You understand what I'm saying? I know when I take losses and I know when I got victories. So the thing is, Whenever you hear people who speak of competition in general, they're speaking from a place of a deficit. That's the only time you have it. If it's not out of love, it's in a deficit in a relationship. The reason it's competition is because the person is trying to compete to show you in a deficit that they're not the ones for the deficit. In a place of equity, right? If you're in a place of equity, you can't compete. You can't compete. You can only compliment. So the compliment, somebody will call competition. It's not. It's just you saying, man, I know my business partner is kicking butt right now. Let me make sure to be on my game. And complementary environments and equity-based environments is more like silent accountability partners, right? People who focus too much on competition will never be victors. They just won't, because they're too focused on the competition. So they're too focused on the goal is to win, right? The goal is to win. So let's set this up to win, right? And all the competitive stuff, when you want to be a win, it's part of it. You inherit that. If you really want to be a winner, you're going to do what it takes, bro. So, right, what if you have to be a winner and you don't have no opposition? Then who are you competing against? You. Right? Yourself. But you're not competing against yourself. You're just getting better. You're getting better, right? You know, it's not really a competition with self, man. You know, I look at competition like it got to be a polarizing opposition, right? Or it has to be a deficit. That's the only way I really see it. Or if you're not competing out of love, right? I played sports, man. Sports has just been one of the most phenomenal teachers ever, because it gives you an opportunity to get better with no contentiousness. I'm competing with some of the best wide receivers I play with, bro. It's love. Like, they're my guys. And I'm like, oh, he did that, I'm going to do this. And we just got each other better, and we just grinded it out. But when you grind so much, you have to delegate it, or you're going to start cutting it to inequity, right? Grinding get us to a place of equity, right? So all these things kind of work together, but I wouldn't say I'm a competitive person. I want to win. If I go to the gym, whatever it is, I just want to win and get better. And I'm not saying I'm the best, and I'm not saying I'm nowhere near where I want to be, but I'm linear. That's what I will say. I'm definitely linear. So.
Oh, yeah, I couldn't help but, I mean, first of all, I've seen you at the gym working out, and on IG and stuff, the workout videos. I mean, you don't play. You don't mess around. Like, it's motivational. Like, so there's been days where I was about to go to the gym and I pulled up and I see you doing like dips with weights and this, and I'm like, all right, let's hit this bench press.
Right. Hey, man, it's...
Leaf already got his workout in.
I'm around, man, to be honest, and that's why I said it's not competition. Like, what I've been able to do, I think, pretty well is I have categories of people I deal with for certain reasons. Like, I don't need to have one person I hang around in every capacity. Some guys I just go to the gym with. I like their energy. I like being around young people because they got great energy. And I like being around older people because they wise. So they going to tell you the technique. They going to give you the energy. I'm going to put it all together, right? So I'm representing them both. Like, that's how I really look at it. So you have to find people that keep you driven. You have to find people that set reference points for you that you didn't even know you had. Right? Sometimes people see the beautiful things in you that you don't even see. I have buddies all the time be like, Leaf, man, if you just wear a suit and do this, man, you could go here. But I'm hard-hitting, don't want to listen. And I got buddies who work out, they be like, Leaf, you should try this or do this, And sometimes I listen, sometimes I don't. But the beautiful thing is it's very easy to listen to people who you see are actually doing it. Right? So it's not competition in that. It's more admiration and influence. It's like, oh, I can do this because you can do it, and let me try it. Right? It's all fun, man. All this shit is fun. Life is fun, Either we in it, we going through it, or we coming out of it. So you may as well make the best of it, man. Look at everything from a positive lens. Look at everything from a solution lens. Right? I don't have no time to get depressed. I'm going through something right now. Probably some of the hardest stuff I've ever went through in my life. So I'm bringing the same energy, bro. Because I would be a hypocrite if I didn't. Because I tell people when I'm not connected to their trauma or whatever they're going through, focus. Hey, now I'm in it, baby. Straight, I'm a testament to my own. I'm a stand on it.
What are some things you're doing to get through it right now?
Actually, man, it's real ironic, but I've been working on this thing for the last, really, I've been working on it like 20 years and didn't know, to be honest with you. But from when I became conscious of it, I'll say the last 2 or 3 years, I've been kind of working on this thing called Beleaf, and that's my name, obviously, Beleaf, and it's Leaford. But it's all the belief, and everything starts with, your belief system. You know what I'm saying? What do you embrace and how do you move? And through this, I created a couple of theories. So one of the theories I created is called the theory of ice, right? Mm-hmm. And so what I'm utilizing to get through this abyss is like ice, right? And ice is an acronym for incremental steps, consistent strides, and extreme focus, right? So the theory of ice is, I've learned in life, even if you could take long steps, sometimes it takes short ones so you can get small victories and build your confidence up, right? It's less risk there. So let me just get some of these steps under. Let me go back. Let me take it back to some primitive stuff. Let me just go all the way back to the basics, right? The consistent strides is you have to keep moving. Don't stop moving. I don't care if it's a half a step. Keep moving. Keep moving, because that movement is going to allow us to create momentum, and momentum is life's biggest exaggerator, right? That momentum will get you there. And then we have to be extremely focused. And that's probably the most difficult thing, because to be distracted is probably the easiest thing on the face of the earth, right? So my theory of ice is obviously a solid. The better I get, I'll be able to make these things fluid, and I'll put it in liquid H2O form, correct? And once I master it and I get through wherever I'm going through, you'll go to a place to where it's in the earth, it's in the world. It evaporates. And that's when it's for the people. And I'm the testament to it. So it's kind of codified itself in a way of, it's giving me an opportunity to actually stand on what I'm speaking, stand on what I'm saying. And I'm willing to be vulnerable, right? Because to grow, you got to be vulnerable. That's when we grow, when we're vulnerable. And that's always been a struggle for me, is being vulnerable and just, not trusting people or whatever it is. But this is just something in my life I have to do. I'm going to get through it. I don't even question it. I already decided to. But so that's one of my principles from under this belief thing that I'm building, that I'm utilizing to get through it. And I'm documenting some of the stuff because I want to share it with people, man. You know what I mean? I want it to be something that they could use. That's what it's for, man. Like, my life is really for other people. I'm just nothing but an instrument. I'm nothing but an illustration. You know what I'm saying? So
you're just the vessel.
That's it, man. That's really it. I really truly believe that too. I don't just say it. I believe that.
Have you seen the movie Prometheus by chance?
Never even heard of it.
Okay. Well, I don't even know if I should. Basically, like in the beginning, it shows this alien civilization coming to Earth or whatever planet. And these guys, aliens called the engineers, this one, they leave him there, just him. And this is the beginning of the movie, spoiler alert, but he goes into the creek, and then he takes this stuff that kills him, but he dissolves into the water.
Right.
And that genetic code goes into the water, then all of a sudden life starts to form. So not to be that extreme, right, with your example, but your ice theory kind of reminded me of it's this thing, but then turns into this thing.
I'm pretty sure, with myself, I'm sure it's a lot of symbiosis with things that people got out there, but that's the beautiful thing about individuals, man. It's like, we're all unique, man. Right? And I tell people, don't be afraid to show that you're unique. Don't be afraid to show you different. Even if somebody got something out there that's almost identical to you, share it with the world. Because the one thing we do is we get in our own heads. It's like in business, right? I don't care if I'm the number one business. I just want to be the worst. What I want to be is a viable option, right? Be a viable option in the market that's robust, right? Do the best that you can do, right? You got to understand, sometimes you doing the best that you can do is not going to beat the best, right? But you still got a placement. If we say who are the best actors, it's all objective, man. I mean, it's all subjective. It's really, at the end of the day, you can say it's Denzel. It's still subjective, bro. Life is art, right? And we don't know. This is beautiful to somebody. It's just somebody doesn't make any sense. Life is just like that. This is life. This is exactly what it is. Some people love you. Some people hate you. Some people don't understand you. Some people misinterpret you. This is what it is. Somebody say, well, man, them people don't like you, man. Look, bro, we in America. It's like 387 some million people. You think I care that you don't like me? I don't even need you motherfuckers to like me. You can give me a fraction of people that love me, and I can go real far with them because I know that the group that starts out the smallest will always be the strongest. And I understand that we live in a world of an oligarchy. I only care about the tipping point. The masses, do what you want to do. That's not the stuff that changes anything. It's that small group of people that have camaraderie, cohesiveness, chemistry, and they really believe in that thing, right? So it's like, that's why they get exponential growth off of embracing small things. When you got a million people that's vaguely trying to buy into something, it never works. So I'll take my energy and put all my energy into something simple and it looks amazing. I just didn't spread myself thin. So I just got the great result from it. You know what I mean? That's how I kind of look at it. So, and I'm a firm believer in don't let people talk you out your greatness, bro. And don't let proximity and people make you think you're not great. I tell people all the time, bro, don't think because I'm next to you, I'm not great. Because usually the people that we're closest to that are amazing, we take them for granted because they're too close. And then we go celebrate people afar and they don't know the people that they're celebrating got information from you. I've been in situations like that. They were like, he said this. I'm like, yeah, I told him that shit. But it's cool because it's not to throw under the bus. Right? I have my time. I have my day. Right? When you sit in the room with the guys, everybody know who everybody is, bro. Right? You could fake it. You could have a synthetic confidence all you want. When you step into a world of organic focus, that shit is gonna crumble. You can fake it all you want, bro. When you step in the room with the real lions, with the real sharks, you find out real fast you might want to be an herbivore. You might want to get up out of here, right? So don't be out here barking and you only got the ability to conduct yourself like a squirrel. It's very important that you identify who you are so you know what tools that you have to utilize in order to navigate this environment. Because if you're acting like something that you're not, you will perish. And your inability to act assertively and fluidly will be your demise. And that's a fact. They could fake it all they want, but the results don't lie, bro. And like I tell people all the time, man, success happens, it ain't require no explanations. And failure allows no alibis. That's the truth. That's how I live my life. And I've failed many times and I'll probably fail many more times. I'm gonna still get up and do stuff a little better. This is part of life, man. The story is in the failure. Success just look like success. The story is in the journey. We failed along the way, right?
Yeah. No, I love what you just said there. And, to piggyback what we were talking before we started about, the echo chambers.
Mm-hmm.
You were talking about like how, like me personally, I really question how many people, not only do they really believe what they're saying, but do they even understand what they're saying a lot of times. They're just trying to go with what's popular or what they think is going to get them a bunch of views and clicks and things like that. It just seems like true individuals are few and far between who really know themselves. Right. I think that's very key.
I'll take it further than that. Do they even care? Do they care? A lot of people don't care. They don't care. Right? It's like, if I ask you what's the most sophisticated music, it's jazz. Right? It's celebrated, but it's the least rewarded. People don't buy it. People don't understand it, but they'll applaud it. What's the most simple form of music? Pop music. What's the highest selling music? Pop music. Because it's tangible. It's something that everybody can understand from the masses, right? But that's not the stuff that transcends time, bro. Right? So we can get in echo chambers. We can, I look at a lot of stuff on social media, for instance, right? I'm not a super consumer of it, but I'm more of a consumer than I'm a contributor at this point. And you could just tell a lot of people trying to make the money. And it's cool, man. I want everybody to make money. But if they held people accountable for the stuff that they say on social media, 80% of these things are going to tank because it's a lot of misinformation. And these people take this information, they echo it back into society, and they don't do their due diligence. That's social irresponsibility. That's not even propaganda. It's straight lying, right? But nobody's going to hold them accountable, and they're going to get a check. So that tells them, shit, do it again. Mm-hmm. Right? Do it again. And you know that these people are limited with their knowledge in regards to certain things. Challenge them. They get emotional immediately, right? They get emotional because they've run out of information, right? Somebody said one day, they said, Leaf, will you ever run out of information? I said, never. I give it away too much. When you give it away, you got to replenish it. If you hoard it, it's going to become archaic and stagnant. So I look at my life. I created this thing, man. It's the process of 4, right? It's levels to everything. So the process of 4 is we obviously got access to information, right? From that information, we may get an opportunity to illustrate it if we understand it well enough, right? If we are granted the opportunity to illustrate what we've got, right? We then earn a privilege, right? We're given a privilege to demonstrate it. So we take the information. If we can illustrate it well enough in a robust kind of form, we get the privilege of demonstrating it. Now, with privilege come a lot of responsibility here, in a sense, because now you get to demonstrate it. And the further we get away from understanding something, it's less talk, more work, right? So it's information, illustration, demonstration. And once you demonstrate it well enough, you give it to the next generation. And I say the next generation because we should be handing off information to the people coming behind us, not the people ahead of us, right? Information, illustration, demonstration, generation. And once you give it, you go back and get some more information, right? And it's a lot of nuance to it. It's like coding, bro, because we can sit and read the same thing and look at it some totally different way and convey it totally different. And then 2 weeks later, we can read the same thing and have a totally different feeling about it. But as long as we keep that core value and don't deviate too far, then we're genuine. But when you get to deviating too far, you become disingenuous to where it's a lie. You know, I challenge these people. Challenge what they say. Question what you say. Question yourself. Right? Go in the room and question yourself on the things you say. Does it stand the test of time? I think it was Bill Gates that said something like every couple years he try to make one of his products obsolete because if he don't, somebody else will.
Right?
Oh,
wow.
And that's real.
Yeah.
It's gonna be replaced. Like, look at it right now.
Someone's going to do it.
Yeah. And, you know, somebody gonna do it.
I've just got to pull this up because I literally just posted this today. Because what you're talking about, I feel captures it brilliantly. Humility. To a visitor who described himself as a seeker after the truth, the master said, "What you seek is truth. There is one thing you must have above all else." The person says, "I know, an overwhelming passion for it." The master says, "No, an unremitting readiness to admit you may be wrong."
Facts.
So that's what it reminds me, like, to just think that this is it. There's no possibility that this can't be this.
Yeah.
That's when...
Yeah, it's crazy. I was writing over here, and I don't know why I thought this, but it's crazy how it's in line with it. I said, many times people know enough to think they right, but they don't know enough to know that they're wrong. Right? And we all fall in those things, you know. But now, when we enter conversations, we shouldn't enter them trying to be right or wrong. We should be entering with the notion only of understanding, right? Let's enter it with the processors of, let me understand this, right? Where are they going with this? Let me understand this. So it forces us to be great observers, and it forces us to be patient, right? And that's something I need to work on because I move so fast and rapid, be flying through shit sometimes, you know? Even just life in general. I think I miss out on a lot of enjoyment in life, just flying through things. What's the next endeavor? You know, what's the next endeavor? And did a lot of self-reflection. And again, man, I'm not no perfect being, but I'm better than I was. That's all I could ask for, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm healthy, I can breathe, and I'm better than I was. So every time you meet me, you're going to get a better version of me. You know what I mean? I really believe that.
You're working on being more present in the present moment?
Yeah, definitely. That's something I have to work on because time is finite, right? And that means that from a Kuro standpoint, moments are important, right? Not from a chronological standpoint, but from an enjoyment standpoint, we should be able to hold on to some of these things in order to share them from a vivid standpoint, to paint a picture for the other people. No, man, this shit is great, right? And that's what I believe. I've been flying through a lot of stuff, man. Did a lot of things, met a lot of people, good and bad, and That's something I want to do better. I want to enjoy life a little more. Right? I want to have a sense of urgency. I don't want to rush. I don't ever want to compromise the integrity of what I'm trying to accomplish. Whatever I do, I want to make sure I give it to somebody where it's thorough. You know, I want to give them something that like it's like turnkey. You know, that I want to. That's what I want to do. And that's just something I'm working on, man. I have a lot of struggles in life. You know, obviously we all do, but for myself, that's one of the things I struggle with the most. I'm moving too fast a lot of times, man. It's moving way too fast.
I feel you on that because it's a two-way street because you want to progress and accomplish things and you have visions, so you got to do certain things to get to that. But a lot of times when you're doing that, you're missing out on what's right in front of you right here and now.
Yeah, definitely. You know, that's partially our fault because we put too much responsibility on ourselves. This shit is not all my responsibility to fix, bro. It's not only my responsibility to convey a message. I love working with teams. I love working with a teammate. It's amazing. I mean, I got less responsibility and I can focus on what I need to focus on more. But sometimes my ego getting in the way of it. And it's like, I could do this better or something. You know what I mean? Not better than the next person, but I can just do it and provide something better. And you wind up stretching yourself thin sometimes. And I always remember this older brother told me this. I was like 25. He got to be dead now. He was like 70 when he told me. And he said, don't over obligate yourself to people because what you will do is wind up being too late to the things for you. And that's true to this day. It's just a very true statement. Like, don't over obligate yourself to people because you're going to be late to where you got to be. It's going to make you look bad. So, saying no helps. Permanently saying no.
Well, and I'll tell you, that's taken me, and I'm not perfect at it. I've definitely gotten better, but saying no is skillful. Like, to be able to tell people no, and it's not that I don't want to help you, but it's the whole airplane analogy, right? Like, they tell you put on your mask first before you try to help other people, because if you don't, you're both going to be out of luck. Right.
No, it's true, man. It's just life is amazing though. Like, we just sitting here talking, and life is so nuanced, man.
This is a gift right now.
It's amazing, man. I love to be around amazing people.
Yeah.
And when I say amazing people, don't think I'm talking about accomplished people, right? I learned some of the best things in my life from people who are not successful. I learned some amazing things from people who are quote unquote successful. And I learned some things from people who are actually successful, right? But the information just come, man. It's like, I remember I told this girl, I said, yeah, my mentor. She said, how's he your mentor? He's younger than you. I said, what that got to do with it? She said, how's he your mentor? I said, he's more knowledgeable about what I'm trying to learn than me. It's what he do. It's what he's mastered, man. He's a savant at this shit. I'm a novice. This is what he does. I don't care how old he is, right? I don't have restrictions on where I get information, right? Because we know the information come with no condition anyway. Mm-hmm. Take and do what you must. Run with it. You know, it's not a competitive thing with me. It's more of a, how much of an arsenal can I build up just in case we go to war? I'm going to accept all bullets. I'm going to go buy the right guns. If I got all these bullets, I'm going to go buy the right guns for the ammunition. I'm not going to get ammunition away. I'm going to go get the right guns, you know? And that's kind of how I look at it, man. It's better to have that arsenal and never need it than to need it and not have it, you know? And I really, truly believe that in all capacities of life.
You really got me thinking, too, like, really the information is around us at all given times, and so much of our egos, so much of distraction, we miss it, and we don't realize that all the answers are around us at any given time.
Yeah,
really. But like, so I like what you're saying, like, when you can really just put all that aside, but look, I'm just trying to get this information.
You know, it's crazy, like, you pulled your phone out, right? And people are like, I'm going to capture this moment. Most things that you capture on your phone is not even important shit. Because you never have your phone out to really capture the shit that was important. So what you do is try to synthetically recreate what you thought was important. Now it becomes disingenuous. It's like we having a conversation. Somebody could listen to the conversation. They don't feel the energy. They don't understand the camaraderie. They don't see the fluidity, right? You give them a fraction of something that's edited, right? But they miss out on the energy. They just listen to the words. But the energy play a role in it, right? It's like when you at a concert. You're not listening to the words. You feeling the beat. You feeling the fans and the alcohol that's in you. It's a different experience, bro. People nowadays are so willing to tell you what they did, they didn't even enjoy doing the shit. Before they even get to Barbados, they done sent you 1,000 pictures because they're on a plane, right? Because they want to be seen. For me, man, I've been popular since I was a little boy from sports. So I never really did things to be popular. But I understand how business works and I want to be notable, but I have no desire to be popular, right? These phones, man, and all this new technology, you miss out on a lot of things because you're trying to show somebody something that's not meant to be seen. This shit is not for everybody to see, bro. Everything you do in life is not to be shared. That's why I believe being good with words is amazing. Because what I couldn't show you in the picture, I can speak to you in words. The goal is to have Viagra in my words. Make that shit stand out for you. So you can be like, oh my God. And the reason people can't do that again, because they're too busy trying to be entertained. Like how the mind works, bro. It's a cerebral thing. The more TV you watch, the less your imagination works. Your theta waves ain't working. If you don't watch TV and read a book, the words is jumping off the book. But if you watch too much TV, you just read words. You're trying to rush through the book. You're not experiencing it. And this is just biological. This is science. This is science. You can just go study it, man. You know what I'm saying? So if we get away from some of those things, man, life can just be a little more simple, man. So, again, man, people are trying to capture moments. It's synthetic shit, man. The most amazing shit that you did, if it got captured, you didn't capture it. Somebody else captured it. Right? You did not capture it. First off, if you focus on capturing something great, that means you ain't paying attention to what you got to do. That means it ain't that great, really, though, right? Somebody else have to capture it. And the reason, it's like professional athletes or like entertainers. Somebody's always taping those people.
Yeah.
That's an anomaly, bro. That's not everyday real life people. Nobody's taping you every day. Nobody's walking around doing this. Nobody has cameras on us every day like that. We don't really live a life of what they call cinema verite, right? Which is real reality, right? That's not what we live, dog. That's not what we live. So people spend too much time trying to mimic what they believe is fly. And that's why it's a lot of corny ass people, man. It's some corny ass people. Like, even some of the stuff I see people doing in the gym, I'm like, that shit is corny, bro. Like, if I was a criminal, I would slap tons of people in the gym.
For what they're filming themselves doing?
Not just the film, like the corny shit they doing. Just walking on the top of the stuff and, lifting up the benches. Like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing this for? I just don't understand what is the purpose of doing it. Like, I get it. You want to be unique? Well, fine. Do some shit that's going to be practical for somebody to mimic. But what are you doing with that? That's not going to do anything. I don't know the purpose of it. I would love to know the purpose of it. And I would ask any of the people, like, why you do it? If they can explain it, like, cool. Not telling them to stop. I'm just like, it's corny to me, but I don't know, man.
But now I'm curious. Now that we're heading this direction, I'm curious. Where do you think this is all going? Like, do you think this ends well?
What?
With technology, social media, just people's minds being so wrapped up. Like, I like how you said, like, showing things that don't really need to be seen. Was this all planned? Is this
of course it's all planned.
Is this just a consequence of the?
It's not a consequence.
Okay,
that's how people think. But you got to understand. Look, man, I'm a black man, bro. All right, I have a very unique experience here in America. Regardless of what anybody says, they be like, "This is better, that's better." They don't know what it means to be black, right? They don't understand the nuances that it come to be black. I think about being black every day. I'm 45 years old, bro. Why do I have to think about being a black man every day? When people say, why? Well, color don't matter. Well, if color don't matter, why do we have civil rights? Why do we have all this shit that you telling me don't matter, right? I would love to wake up and say I'm an American. I would love to wake up and say an American was shot by the police. But that's not what we do. right? So I'm not the person you could glass-like with all that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I understand all these things matter. What I do is manage myself in the best capacity I possibly can in order to give the most thorough, detailed story of what took place, lack of emotion, right? So with everything that we see, and the reason I said I'm a black guy is because we got very unique circumstances, right? This polarizing. If you get a cold, I get the flu. That's how the black community works. That's what happens when you don't have cover. That's what happens when you don't have economic prowess. That's what happens when you don't have business. That's what happens when you don't have ability to dictate and make things maneuver. So we're a very vulnerable community, right? And I ask people this. How do you expect somebody to understand a 100-year plan when they can't even create a 3-day itinerary? Right? Mm-hmm. Everything that you see is not by chance, bro. The technology we using now was beta tested 15 years ago, 10 years ago. I remember I was telling people, man, stop using them self-checkouts when they came out. Stop using them. I don't really use self-checkout. I could probably count on my hands how many times I use it because I'm still like on smart keg. I'm fighting against it, right? The people don't understand that they're powerful. And like I said at the beginning of the conversation, the group that starts out the smallest is always the strongest because they find ways to agree and they don't let petty shit get in the way. The group that's based on numbers have no chemistry. So when you tell somebody, hey man, don't use that self-checkout, they like, it's going to happen anyway. They think they're small thinkers. They don't understand it. No, they're running a beta test on you. And if y'all don't use this, they won't bring it to market, right? We got natural GPSs we're naturally a GPS. You got your sight, you got your touch, sense of smell, taste, hearing. That's a GPS, right? That's your global positioning sensor. That's how we navigate the world. We are in a society now that people celebrate all this technology they created and forget that people created the technology. Mm. The genius is in the person. The technology is just a byproduct of the genius. Correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
They never look at it like that. So they're like, oh, we can do this, this, and this. Everything you see was a thought first, bro. And then once they thought about it enough to work it out, then they believed it. And then once they believed it well enough, they brought it to fruition and sold it to you. Is it really genius? Or is you not the ones that thought of it? So we're in a place, I think all this shit is scripted. It's like the Truman Show.
Yeah.
That's what this life is. It's like the Truman Show because if you're doing incubators and if you're doing things like think tanks, these people already know exactly which direction things are going to go. These are not dumb people, bro. But they sell it to the world. And then the world buy it. And then the world base everything on money. And they say, well, I got this car and it's better. And I got this and it's better. And I'm doing this and I'm taking this. And they sitting back like, man, we got these motherfuckers. And it's so layered now. It is what it is. Yeah. It is what it is. I'll say in the next 10 years, 10 to 15 years, there probably won't be no more public school because you have artificial intelligence. And who's going to get hurt the most with artificial intelligence? Poor people. So if poor people are going to get compromised the most, then you got to understand we're going to have a very violent, volatile society. Why? Because poverty leads to violence. No work, no nothing. But you ready? They help it. Everybody play a role in everything you see. I'm not going to the mall. I'm going to Amazon. Okay. Get on Amazon. But y'all don't want monopolies. What you think you're creating, fool? A monopoly. Businesses are falling every day due to stuff like that. Right? Mm. They're like, they're conglomerates, man. And even me sitting here talking to you and you willing to listen, people say, when I say stuff like this, they drive me, you crazy. I'm like, all right.
That is true about self-checkouts. I remember there would be like one here and there, but now it's like replaced in some places like half of the cashiers.
You got terrible customer service because they've replaced people with machines. Mm-hmm. And now the autonomy is within that. These places, I mean, Walmart about to close stores across the country because of self-checkout, because people stealing.
Oh.
Yeah, the theft is at an all-time high. Right?
Yeah.
So they like, I'm losing. And these are, Walmart is
that's big Walmart.
They're making billions.
Mm-hmm.
But because they got some kind of, because people are stealing, and it's not like it made them have a deficit, they're like, we're going to close these stores. It ain't worth it. But Walmart come to the city, once they close that store, now that entire city, the economics is gone because Walmart took all the small businesses out. Now what do you have?
Nothing.
Crime. That's how all this shit work, man. So everything works together, man. I'm a firm believer everything works together. And I don't even know why I think about this kind of stuff so much, but I mean, it's intriguing. It's just, I've always been, I ask people, I say, if there's one thing you could change, and I ask them and they would answer it, but you know what they forget?
What?
If you change one thing, you change all things, right? They're thinking, well, I would change this. Yeah, but you change all things when you change that. That's what you don't understand. So that one thing that you think is insignificant can be pivotal in society. And I started thinking like that when I was a kid. I don't know if you ever saw this show called Voyagers. It was only on for one season because one of the star guys, he died. He got shot on filming with a gun.
Oh.
It was like supposed to be like a fake gun, but he got shot and he died. But they would go back in time and they would like do things to change history. It was a really good show.
It's a cool concept, yeah.
Yeah, and it was called Voyager. It was like I want to say it came out like late 80s or whatever it is, or maybe early 90s. But it was a really good show. So I just think, if you change one thing, you change all things.
And that goes both ways, right? I mean, that could go really good.
Exactly.
That could go really bad.
Exactly. So then again, we're taking a chance, right?
Well, and then also you bring up something, we do have more power than we think we have with our dollars. Like where we spend our money. Like if people really wanted to change some things, you could just don't spend your money here. But I just feel like, especially in America, people don't have that type of control.
They don't.
They got to have it.
They don't.
We've been conditioned to have it.
It's marketing.
Yeah, marketing. It's so powerful.
Marketing, super powerful.
I actually have that book right here. Influence. Have you read this one?
I haven't read that book.
By Cialdini. Yeah. The psychology of persuasion. Like it's crazy.
It's great. So, I mean, I would say the psychology of persuasion is positive because persuasion got a positive connotation, but manipulation got a negative connotation. Like people don't understand that. I live my life and I look at it like I was telling you, based on the principles of polarity. Everything is identical, but the exact opposite, only at different degrees, right? Period, point blank. Persuasion and manipulation, what's the difference? One is negative, one is positive. Celebration, judgment, what's the difference? One is negative, one is positive. We're in a universe. It's energy. You need a positive and a negative. So that's the only time you get a charge, right? So, people abuse things because they just don't understand it well enough. So they're like, we're going to do this, right? And, you have people in society saying, don't judge, don't shame, don't criticize. Well, if you don't have people who are getting judged, criticized, or shamed, you're going to have a weak-ass society, bro. You're going to have a bunch of pat yourself on the back society, mediocre people. And when you have mediocre people, you have a chaotic environment. When you have strong, disciplined people, you have a safe environment. And when you have weak people, you have a very dangerous environment, right? So the paradox of life is, man, the higher and further you go, the smaller you look. But we know airplanes are gigantic. But when you sitting here looking at it fly over the Burbank Airport, you like, that thing looks small.
Yeah.
Right? It's optical illusions, man. So that's what the people don't understand how these things work, because it is not that they can't. It's just they don't challenge them. They don't challenge themselves because they're so consumed with the rat race and the day-to-day life. I'm gonna go get this check. Just even if we sit down and challenge ourselves on, the one thing people do is they state statistics and don't understand how to read statistics, right? I have somebody say, a lady tells me, she says, well, and ladies are definitely hypergamous. She says, well, I make $100,000. He needs to make $100,000. I said, why? She said, I make $100,000. I said, but how much of the American dollars do women spend? And how much marketing is at women? 80% of marketing is where? At women, right? And women probably spend 71% of American dollars, correct? So why do he have to make $100,000 if you make $100,000? If I'm just looking at stats, he probably only got to make about $60,000 and y'all equivalent equal, because you're going to spend way more money, right? And you're going to spend your money on yourself. He going to wind up spending money on you, correct? So let's look at it and let's adjust these things to make them look appropriate. You get me? And on top of that, you got all the consumer debt and all the college debt too. Whereas more women go to college than men because we could just go into trades. So the plumber that you laughing at, without the degree, probably make just as much or more money than you anyway. And he understands profit loss statements and everything. That's just what it is. So I challenge people to look at things your way and challenge them. Don't just regurgitate stuff, bro. Like, we have a lot of power in not only our dollar, but we have a lot of power in who we are as individuals. And we have a lot of power collectively. But it's difficult to consider. Look, Sam, it's like this. If we invited 10 people to the table and we all think we got brilliant ideas, and we got 10 people at the table and we need 10 ideas, when we walk away from that table, if they say, we're going to take one of your ideas and you had 100, be happy. They took one of your ideas, bro, and it was thousands of ideas. That's pretty fly. Yeah. But you know what happens? This person walk away like, man, F them. I had all these brilliant ideas and they only took one. Bro, it was 10 people here and everybody had all these brilliant ideas. They took 10 for that moment. Come back next week, you might have another shot. We try to get too much at one time, man. And the greed part of it is just killing society. It's literally just, everybody does it. Everybody does it. Everybody always looking at what the next man got. I'm in my own lane, baby. I've been living a no blinker life. I don't need no side mirrors. I don't really give a shit what you got going on. They be like, well, he made 100 million. Cool. Happy for it? I don't care, man. I don't care. I don't think, man, when you a real man, you don't care about what the next man make. I don't care about none of that stuff. You get me? Because it's like, when you're looking at sports, a lot of those guys are like, well, he made this, I should make this, he made this. But, you know, I was looking at this thing, 50 Cent said, man, this is some fly shit. He said, people get so caught up in looking at the payment that they forget the potential and possibilities, right? Sometimes those things, it's like, it's counterintuitive sometimes. But you got to just know sometimes, dog. You got to just go. You got to go with what's not popular sometimes, you know? I think those are the real bosses of the world. The people that you be like, he did that? Yeah, he did that. I want to be that person.
And then when it becomes popular, better find the next opportunity because too late.
Yeah, exactly. I want to be that person, bro.
Yeah.
You know, and truthfully, that's just what it is. Like, I don't mind being an outlier. It just don't mind. It just don't bother me for somebody to say, I don't agree with him, I don't like him. So, beat me.
What's the classic quote? Comparison is the thief of joy.
The comparison is the thief of happiness.
In social media, I mean, you talk about taking that to level 100 of just people constantly looking at probably a life someone really doesn't even have anyway. But mentally they think, well, that person drives that car, that person did this, or this person went on this trip. I'm not doing that, so I must not be doing well, you know?
You got to really dig deep, man. You got to... You got to love who you are, man. Right? You know, some girls tell me, when I say, she say, hey, you a good looking guy, Leaford. I say, I'm cool. I'm a regular, average looking guy, man. Some girls think I'm very attractive. Some might think to me, I'm a regular guy. I don't care what y'all think. Boos and cheers sound the same to me, bro. What I know about me is that I love me and I focus on the things I can control. I can't control that I'm 5'9". I can't control that I'm an average looking guy. The shit that I control, I'm fucking you up. The shit that I can control, you better fucking work day and night. I'm be on your ass with it, right? All that other stuff, I'm not worried about it, dog. I'm not worried about it. I don't look at, dude, this is real life talk. I remember this girl telling me I was short. I'm 5'9". I'm the average American man's height. I said, I'm not short. She said, yes, you are. She said, you only 5'9". I said, talk to you. She said, 6'. I said, bitch, you big. You're Amazon. What are you talking about? The average woman in America is 5'4". You're big. Right? It's only like 4% of men globally that's over 6'1".
Right.
You a big woman. Like, you want to create a narrative that you want to substantiate a narrative to make your claim look right. But no, you got to look at it across the board, you know? And even with that, like, so I'm always thinking to myself, I created this thing, like, you could have a conversation 7 different ways. Pretty much these 7 ways you can have a conversation. The first way you can have a conversation is from pro standpoint. a con standpoint, a contrarian standpoint, right? A passion standpoint. You just passionate, right? A timing standpoint, anecdotal in general. Put the conversation in one of them capacities and then you go. But don't try to mix anecdotal with general. It's two different conversations. I hear people say all the time, I know a lot of people. I'm like, how many people you know? 8. I'm like, it's 355 million people here, right? What percentage of the population do that 8 people represent? Crickets. Silence. Right? But those are people who want to be right. I'm not interested in being right. I'm interested in being successful. I know I had the right of way, but the car ran the light. I don't want to die. I don't run the light. But you want to be out here talking about you right. I'll go to the funeral. Right? Is being right worth losing?
I love what you said. Booze and cheers sound the same.
Sound the same, man.
Man, that's some perspective right there.
You have to. You gotta let them. You gotta allow them to change. Because if you don't allow them to sound the same, you're gonna allow outside entities to predicate how you live life emotionally. All right? You're gonna be like this. I learned this shit from sports though. Because them writers will write beautiful things about you one week, and then you drop a ball the next week, and they own you. Like, I'm not saying I did it to the Marshawn Lynch level. I got in trouble all the time in college for not doing interviews. Because I was like, oh, no, they cold. The Associated Press, like, I got in trouble with field time, man. I had to do a field 6 a.m.s because I didn't go do the interviews. I wasn't even interested in it anyway. I just played football because I was good. I never looked at it like that was my lifestyle. I was good at it. I had an opportunity to go to college, play with some wonderful people, wonderful coaches. Awesome, but I didn't care about this shit like that. I just didn't. So, I mean, that's just how I was, man. And to this day, I'm still kind of like that. So,
what was your position?
I played wide receiver and my return kicks, so special teams and stuff like that. Had a good, decent little career. It was fun.
Is that then from there? Is that why you're so into the gym and fitness? Did it come from your football day? Or you've just always been that way?
Football probably initiated my interest in working out because it was kind of a mandate. But then you just take it and run with it. I enjoy it. I want to look good aesthetically. I want to feel good. I want to give myself an opportunity to live in the most healthy life. So, and it's crazy even like with that. A friend of mine I went to Washington State with, Keisha Gates, she's a life coach, real bright person. Her and her husband, they like my family. And she's really helped me bring a lot of this stuff to fruition because she's great at taking information and organizing it. I'm not. And I was talking to her that day. I said, what's crazy? We hate doing things that we're obligated to. But sometimes if we adhere to the mandates and the obligations, it allows us to see what we can create an opportunity. So think about it. You hate doing things when you're obligated to it. It's just not fun. But because you're obligated to do it, you have to be consistent because somebody's overseeing you. And because you're consistent, you already know you're going to get results. And you start seeing those results and those obligations, you start looking at as opportunities to where you take those results and you exacerbate. And that's all on you. I remember talking to a guy in a sauna. This is real. That same sauna that I met you in. He's like, man, I hate my job. He's a young guy, engineer. He's like, man, I hate my job. It sucks. My job this. And I asked him, I said, hey, bro, you the best person at your job? He's like, no. I said, that's why your job sucks. I said, you think that that you're a reflection of the job. No, the job is a reflection of you. You haven't even outgrown the environment. You talking about what sucks? I said, bro, be humble and be fortunate to be there. Make the job better. I said, your job sucked because they hire people like you. He was mad. But I think in his head, he's like, I can't beat this dude up. So he just held the L. He just had to hold it because he looked. I seen him look from a primitive standpoint. I seen him look. And he's like,
that rage.
You want to go there? You get choked out in the sauna. Then what? They back here with the ambulance? Is it worth it? And then I saw him like months later and he told me, he said, bro, that was hard to hear. He's a young guy.
Yeah.
And it was cool. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't no issue. It was just, it is what it is. But don't be in here complaining about something that you're contributing to the complaints. Right?
You know what? You bring up, and that, I really relate to that because it's all about attitude too. Like, it's amazing. I've been really into just the concept of reframe. Like, you complain about some of this, or you can reframe it like, well, what opportunities are here? And even like, working jobs you don't want to work. It may not be your quote unquote dream job, but are you giving it your 110% all? Because you're just creating a worse environment for yourself by having an attitude with it, by not being good at it. It's just compounds.
Yeah.
But it's amazing when you do it. I'm going to give this everything I got. You don't know what doors are going to open up for you.
Correct.
Or you might just end up really man, I really do like this. Maybe I'm really good at it. So I think that's a very key thing you said there. I think
we got to just be honest with ourselves because we don't always give it our all, myself included.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we get lazy. Sometimes we get overwhelmed. Sometimes we get tired. Sometimes we're just uninterested.
Yeah.
Right? And we slack. But the thing about me is I'm always willing to take responsibility. See, I'm fine with you fucking up. I'm fine with you not doing something right. But I'm not fine with you not doing it right and then pointing the finger like somebody else did it wrong. I don't like that. That's weak. Right? So you can mess up. Just take responsibility and accountability, bro. And that's all. That's what I'm with. So ain't nobody out here expecting somebody to be perfect and everything you do operating at some optimal level. But man, have some effort, man. And as a man, I know this might be controversial with me saying as a man, right? But as a man, bro, I hold men in real high regard. Not that I don't hold women in high regard, but I believe that men should be pace setters. I believe that we should be stoic, right? I believe that we should be forward thinking. We should have the ability to telegraph, to lead, to protect, to provide. It's an honor to be a man, bro. You know what I'm saying? I think it's an honorable thing. And I stand on that, bro. So I expect certain things of men in society. When I see it not being done that way, it's kind of like deplorable. I don't want to be around certain men, bro. I don't want to be around men who don't have a desire to take care of their children. I don't want to be around men that everything is a competition to destroy something that look like them. I just don't want to be around those kind of people in general. But again, man, if society is going to be predicated, the strength of society is going to be predicated on the backbones of the strength of men, I don't want to be around weak men. Just like I don't want to be around demoralized women, because the nation is only going to rise. It's only going to rise as high as the morals of our women. Straight up. So it's a collaborative thing, man. It's a merger, and to merge anything, I understand that you got to minimize self. Right? It's like you having me here. You got a lot of stuff to say. I got a lot of stuff to say, but you have to retract and minimize self to give me a space to speak, and vice versa, so we can grow. Right? We can't bring everything we got to the table, dog. It's not going to be enough space. We don't got enough room for it. So strategically, let me recess a bit. Let you recess a bit. And that gives us an opportunity to cohesively merge something seamless and share it. All right. That's just my understanding of stuff and how I kind of think, man. I always hear people using stuff like settle. Fool, we all settle. It's a compromise, man. You think you're going to get everything you want? You're not even everything they want. You know what I'm saying? But you think you're going to get everything you want. Like, fool, we all out here making concessions. And due to the fact we got filters, he's not going to tell you that you ain't the perfect shape. He's going to say it's good enough. I can work with this. Right? So, yeah, man, this is what it is, for myself. Man, society's interested.
Yeah. And just talking to you, it's like I almost could just have like 100 topics. Tell me about religion. Tell me about tell me economics. One thing I did want to touch on, just because I've talked to, you shared like business philosophy and stuff with me. You're an entrepreneur. Like, can you tell me a little bit about your entrepreneurial journey or philosophies that you have, or what took you that route?
I'm simple. I believe in simplicity. I believe in putting forth effort. I probably would have been a much better entrepreneur by now if I had focused more on building businesses and not being a part of them. So I had to learn those hands-on lessons. But I'm at a place now to where I definitely fluidly understand them. And my business acumen is way higher than it was. And I know that I'll definitely be at a way different level economically in the next year and a half or two. I love it though, man. I love the unpredictability. I love to make decisions, right? I love to provide opportunity. I love to take responsibility, and I love to be celebrated too. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I'm an entrepreneur. But it's in me, bro. I wouldn't want anything else. Like, this shit is in me. From the simplest businesses to the most sophisticated stuff, I love to study. I love to read. I love to be around wise people. I like to make money. I like to do fly shit. But the crazy thing about it is, I'm really a conservative person. The net of it all is I'm the epitome of a conservative person, right? I've been having the same cars for like 15, 20 years, but I treat them like they're brand new cars, right? My mother told me something when I was young, you know what I'm saying? Because I grew up I hate to say I grew up poor, because I really didn't. I grew up poor if you're looking at money. But I didn't grow up poor, bro. I grew up with my mother and my father and all my brothers and sisters in the house. And we didn't have the best thing to eat, but we had something to eat, right? We didn't take vacation, but we did go somewhere, right? We didn't have the best Christmases, but we had Christmas, right? So my thing is like, man, I appreciate everything, bro. I've had great mentors. I never felt poor, dog. I just didn't have the flyest shoes and clothes, and that's probably what make me conservative now, man. I wear great t-shirts and regular tennis shoes the rest of my life. Maybe that's why I want to look good from the gym, so they don't look at my clothes. Because they'll say, look at your clothes. I say, look at your body. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, the entrepreneurial thing, it's just always been in me, man. And I got to meet some wonderful people doing it. So, and it's really just in a nutshell, that's what it is. I love the opportunity to be able to create something, to be able to provide something, to be able to be responsible for something, and to sit back and to watch it come to life, man.
Yeah.
It's like I can sit on YouTube and watch videos of people detailing cars because I love to see the transition. Right? I love to see that transformation, man. Like, look at this. I just love it. And that's what business is to me. It just gives me an opportunity every day to do my own thing. And it never stops because people got off work at 5. I'll be up to 2. I'll be reading and studying. And they be like, they shut it down, you know? And I learned a valuable lesson working this one job I had. I remember this lady. She said, well, Mr. Hackett, she never talked to me again after this. This is the truth. This is the truth. It was at Beckford Elementary in Northridge. And I was already in an entrepreneurial thing, got the crack, and I bought apartment buildings, all type of stuff, right? She's 29 years old. She says, well, Mr. Hackett, you're not into education like me. I said, well, why do you say that? She said, well, I'm a teacher. I said, that's your job. She said, well, no, I'm into education. You're not. I said, no, this is your job. I said, and I asked her this. I said, you're a 3rd grade teacher. She said, yes. I said, how long you been a 3rd grade teacher? She said, 10 years. I said, I've heard you complaining here that you don't have enough time for yourself. So if you don't have enough time for yourself, you have no way to have time for continued education because it's not even a mandate through LA Unified School District. And I also heard you say that you were struggling economically. I said, so if I had to guess, you have a 3rd grade education because you've been teaching the same exact curriculum for 3 years, the same exact way to the same 3rd graders. I said, I read, I study, I go to seminars, I do these things all the time. And I said, the house that you're over here celebrating that you got, which I'm happy for you, I said, I'm on my 3rd house and I'm 15 years younger than you. She never talked to me again. Never talked to me. I did that shit because sometimes you got to be a little arrogant just to let them know. Because I knew what she was trying to do, right? She was trying to demean me. So I had to be a little facetious and arrogant to let her know, lady, you're not the pace car for me, right? You're not the pace car, son. And then she knew in that moment.
Well, it's like, for some reason, I started thinking about, my own educational journey. Like, that's why I like surrounding myself with people such as yourself, because you're just constantly learning. Like you said, all the information's there. And I think back to college, man, I wasn't in a learning state back then.
I don't even know what I learned in college, bro.
But now if I were to go back, oh my God, like I would be like all into it. Like, yeah, man.
If you were to go back to college right now, they would kick you out. I'm going to tell you why. You would challenge everything the
Probably.
teacher said, bro. They don't want those kind of students.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
They don't want those kind of students, right?
Yeah.
You know, because I tell people like this: education is antiquated, information is contemporary, right? Everything that we learn from an educational standpoint has already been documented 5-6 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
Information is contemporary. Now we got information, right? You can get into a new industry, whatever, like fast. Like even the brother that's doing the cameras and stuff here, right? He could have learned techniques years ago, but you jump into it. You can learn these things overnight, and you got to. The thing about the information now is you got to polish it yourself. See, the way the schools work is they organize the information. But if you get on the internet and get to learning, you like, oh wait, I learned the top before the back, and you have to codify it yourself. And that's a difficult thing to do. I struggle with that. That's a very difficult thing to do. You may be learning the tail end of something you don't know the beginning. School walk you through this process because they know most people don't have the discipline to do it themselves. But I got the discipline to go understand those things. So if you went back to school right now, they would probably say, we're going to go ahead and kick Sam out of here. Maybe you should just transfer because the teachers are saying you're asking too many questions and it's slowing down the class, right? Well, the shit don't make sense. You know, and then I get to looking like, okay, the teacher said this. I'm gonna get to looking at how the teacher move. Like, what's the teacher's lifestyle? How does this work? And naturally, I'm an analytical person. Like, I took a lot of law classes in college. I did well with all of the classes I took for law in college. So I'm always thinking like, this shit don't make any sense.
Right,
like, you know what I mean? So I'm kind of like a rebel. You know what I mean?
Oh,
but I didn't put nowhere near the energy in school that I should have. So to all the kids out there, if any of y'all watching, at least put effort in it because this is need. So.
Well, we're getting to the end here. This has been, we're going to have to do way more of these. It's just not enough we can cover, this time. I did want to just throw a question here before I give you the last word. Maybe this is saved for another podcast, but do you think we're all here for a purpose? Do you think and this is maybe a greater question of where we all came from, but are we all here to do something?
I think everybody's here to do something. But as a group, we're also here to do something. And that's what we haven't decided it is yet. As individuals, we are here. But individuals aren't really that powerful. Groups are powerful. All right? Collectivity is powerful. That's what power is. You have people who give orders, and we call them powerful, but they're not really the powerful people. It's the groups that they mandate to do it. Right? You got a general in the Army, general in the Navy, whatever it is, right? They give orders. Is that one individual powerful? Or these people that they've mandated and that they've told and they got to buy into something and they got to buy into this idea? The people who are rendering the services are the powerful people. But the people that are rendering the services think the person who told them to do it is powerful. It's like a penitentiary. You got 30 guards and you got 1,000 people and they listen. Right? It's a mindset thing. So in regard, everybody has a purpose. You have individual purpose. You got family purposes, everything. But together, I think we have a purpose. And I think that's what we haven't figured out because we're not together. We're separated. Have you ever read this thing called the 7 Cultural Mountains of the World? It's how they divide everything. And it makes total sense.
Can you go into that a little bit?
Well, it's just like, I think it's divided like on religion, business,
politics,
entertainment.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah,
it's like even when you look at all the protected classes, the reason they call them protected classes is they can't be denied, right? Race, your religion, your age, things like that. But why aren't gangbangers a protected class? Why isn't having tattoos a protected class? You can openly discriminate against that stuff, right? The protected classes are things that people really have bought into. Their race, their religion, their age, their gender, their sexuality. You can control a lot of things with that, right? You can control a lot of things with entertainment and media. People don't know that there's a difference between media and entertainment, right? You have to understand business, all these things. And shout out to Bookie Gates because he the one that put me on it. And I'm like, it makes total sense. But it's kind of some real in-depth type stuff, but it's not that difficult. It takes time, you know? So there's no camaraderie between society. You know what I mean? They'll divide us on everything. You know, Sam is a white dude from the Midwest. I'm a black dude from the West Coast, right?
Mhm.
It's off the rip, you can divide it easy. It's an easy divide. That's why they keep the communication lines closed. Because the more we talk, proximity breeds comfort, bro.
Mhm.
Right?
Mhm.
Proximity breeds comfort. So the more we talk, the more similarities we have. It's like liberals talking to conservatives, right?
Mhm.
A lot of them got the same outlooks on stuff. They just look at it a little different way, right? And when you let people sit down and really have a conversation, we pretty much at the core of it, we don't really differ that much, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? A white dude in West Virginia is more poor than he is white, right? But he think that he better than a poor black dude. You know why? Because they ain't talked about poverty.
Mhm.
He don't understand that he getting slaughtered just like the poor black dude, but nobody wants to be on the bottom. So what he uses is, say, well, I'm a white dude, bro. You still can't read. You still have no teeth and you're still poor, right? Look at those things. The metric, what is the metric? The metric is economics, man. The metrics is economics. You could go see, bro, you can see black people live together, Hispanics, whites, everybody. But I'm going to tell you what you won't see. You won't see poor people living with rich people. Economics will teach you a lot,
Mhm.
right? Economics will teach you a lot. Everybody want to be rich, but they don't know it's a lot of rich people that's poor. They rich with money, poor with knowledge,
Mhm.
right? How do you have $50 million and you don't have no button pushing ability? Is that rich? What they say you need money to be powerful, right? But having money don't make you powerful. A lot of people don't get that, but it's true, man.
Shout out to my man KC, but he was telling me, like Fred Hampton of the Black Panthers, like
Mm-hmm.
he started uniting all the poor people,
Mm-hmm.
whether they were white, black, Hispanic, whatever.
Right.
And then they all go, you know what? Yeah, you're right. Like
Exactly.
we're all in the same boat here. You know, what if we come together and that, they didn't like
I'll
that.
show you. I'll give you this. I know you got to go. I'll give you this. I'll give this visual real fast. So, when you look at how many people are killed by police in America, more white men are killed by police every year than any other race. But if we're looking at per capita, then the rates change. So they're not killed at a disproportionate rate, right? But here's the thing: you never see it on TV. You never capture it. You know why? You know why they do it?
It's not going to outrage people as much, or
Nah, bro, they don't do it because it's going to outrage people.
Hmm.
White men in America don't think like black men in America. White men in America think I could do whatever I want. So if they're showing white boys get killed by white men,
yeah.
the country's going to go into an uproar. And white people own the most guns in America. It is going to be a civil war, bro. You never see it though, right? Because it's all propaganda. I'm not saying this stuff isn't happening to black people. I'm not saying the black guys aren't getting shot. What I'm saying is once they see white people getting shot, they going to stop saying, oh, they going to learn real fast. Oh, this shit is economics. They're killing all of us. So now it's all these millions of people against these people. So this commonality, bro, it's like, have you ever heard of Marcus Garvey?
Mm-mm.
So Marcus Garvey was a revolutionary. He brought more people together than Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, all of them put together, right? He was Pan-African in this, right? And so Marcus Garvey said he was 101%er. He said, we could have 99% difference. I'm not tripping. But the 1% we agree on, I'm going to put 100% in it. That's how power works. That's how power works, bro.
Hmm.
Put all your energy in that one thing and you'll see it. So it's a lot of things if we was to come together and have conversation, the differences wouldn't matter that much because the thing that's bothering us the most is the similarities. Majority, I was reading a study. It said that 50% of Americans don't have $500 as an emergency fund for an emergency fund.
I believe
50% of Americans. So 50% of Americans, right? Black people only make up 14% of the American population. So that means it's a lot of poor people, bro. But everybody thinking they better than other one. They all poor, right? Everybody's credit cards are maxed out. Everybody going to pay the advance, but yet they think they're different or they think they better. Don't compare ghettos to white affluent areas. Compare ghettos to the Rust Belt of America. And you're going to see it's going to look identical. It's going to look the same. In regards to affluency and poverty, again, principles of polarity. The people at the top are violent to protect what they have. The people at the bottom are violent because they have nothing. They have nothing to lose. These people spend no money because they don't have it. These people spend no money because they control it all. These people want to keep you in. These people don't want to let you in. Right? Principles of polarity. This is how it works, bro. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
These people got free education. These people pay for the education. All right? No access, all access. They call it gangster. They call it security. Same things. Same things. You know, they tell you money don't matter. They tell you money don't matter. They telling you money don't matter because they want you to get their money. They telling you money don't matter because they don't want you to ask them for theirs. Right? So all this stuff work together, man. It's just, you have to just sit down and really kind of look at it. And a lot of people don't grasp it because it does take time, I guess, for myself. It's just interesting to me. It's life.
Yeah.
You know, it's life, man. And wherever we put our energy and our time, that's where we're going to get our best results. So you could lie to me all day and tell me to go to the gym, but if your BMI is 90, you're lying to me. I can see. Right? It's a lie, man. You can tell me you read all kind of books and I'll talk to you. I'm like, oh, your vernacular is a little off this. What you listen to audiobooks? Because you're not reading anything because you obviously not picking up what's going on here. You know what I mean? So that's the world that we live in. I'm just here to make it better. I'm here to try to enjoy it while I'm here. I know that time is finite. I do have a sense of urgency, but overall, man, I just love people. I do enjoy people. I love people. And yeah, man, I appreciate meeting people like you. I stretch because of people like you. And that's what it is, man. I think we got to have more mediums like this to where you could see people merge things and thoughts that look aesthetically different. I think it's important, you know?
Yeah, no, that's beautiful. And yeah, I like how you said, like, you know, we come from two completely different backgrounds, but once we connected. It's about the information.
Right.
Like we're on the same, you know, it's like, but again, it's this world, the way it's set up, everyone's divided and against each other. And
because it works like that.
Yeah.
Right. That's why the family court make that much money. It's they make more money on divided families than they do having families together. So now you got like this kind of like gender war to where it looks like it's really a genuine thing between men and women and everybody just puppets, baby. You know, everybody's just puppets, and it's easy to buy into it. If they market it to you every day, you start believing some of that shit. Like, damn, like you got to check yourself. You know what I mean? You got to check yourself, bro. So again, man, I'm not exempt from it. We all here together. I'm pretty sure I didn't bit the apple with the worm in it. You know what I mean? I try to be as aware as possible and try to be as conscious and as possible. And but we're in a very awkward time right now, man. So, you know, there's not a lot of clarity with anything. And not even a lot of clarity with gender and all that. So it's not clarity, and where you don't have clarity, you're gonna have chaos. Yeah. You know, and that's just the truth.
Wow. Well, this was incredible. We're just getting started. I mean, we could go for another 6 hours, but we'll have to save it for part 2. Before, I always give the guests the last word. And first of all, thank you so much for doing this. Thank you for making the time. You're a person that I've come across on my journey that I value very highly. And you're one of those people too, like, we don't talk every day. We don't see each other that often. But it's like when I see you, it's like nothing's changed. Like we don't miss a beat.
So it's open dialogue, man.
Open dialogue.
So the energy is always right, and the placement is always right. And I tell people the things that are valued the most are most rare, right? The people you see every day usually contribute the least to your life, believe it or not, right? It's the people that you don't see too often that's always there for you, right? And we know when we busy and we doing things in life, we don't have a lot of recreational time, you know? So yeah, man, I definitely appreciate it. Again, you know, I appreciate you. When you told me about it, I marveled at it because I said, this is dope. Like, and it's great being here, but I'm more so excited for what you're doing because I think it's needed and I think you're good at it and I think you're a really wise person. And I love for wise people to share things with people to maybe encourage them and enhance them. So I think you're on the right track, man. I just love being a part of your journey, bro. And I love having the opportunity to come and kind of share some of my outlooks on things. So, you know, it's a team sport, bro.
Yeah, team sport. I really like what you said about the groups too. That's a really good perspective to have. And if people want to follow you for more of your
people want to follow me, they can follow me at BEEN _ grinding 1977. That's on Instagram. And on Facebook, it's just my name, Leaford Hackett. I have some things that I'm actually working on in regards to my Beleaf product and branding and stuff and trademark. And I'm just getting the business portion of it done before I really kind of release it. But it's gonna be something amazing, man. I have some amazing people working with me. I'm really excited about it. I've done a lot of work behind the scenes on it, so I know it's gonna be great. I'm not even questioning it. Like I know I haven't felt this confident about something since getting a scholarship to football. I never doubted it, and I'm just not doubting it. It's here. I've worked on it for years indirectly, and I can't wait to share it, bro. I know this. I know it'll be great because I'm gonna give it away, but they're gonna still pay me. I ain't gonna even charge them. They're gonna pay me. That's why I know it's gonna be great. You know, so yeah.
I can't wait, man. And before that, last word, anything you want to leave us with?
Man, live life fearless, man. Be great. Appreciate people. And the most important thing is genuinely love yourself. Genuinely love yourself. Genuinely study yourself. You have to know you. You got to know your propensities. You got to know your proclivities. Right? You shouldn't be able to tell me what somebody wore last week and you couldn't tell me what you wore today. Right? Pay very close attention to yourself because you're responsible for that. And that's pretty much it, man, for me. I love the sparkling water.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. We'll have to do this again.
Definitely, man.
Until next time. Hey everyone, thanks for checking out the Sam Dever podcast. Be sure to follow us on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts. And if you watch the podcast, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/@the Sam Dever podcast.